Okay, Rabbi Sai. We have to start the video, mamish, with something big to keep them hooked. Why does the Tesla... Ben Shapiro had a fifth child today, and he tweeted at Elon Musk if he can build a minivan or something of that nature.
No, I don't get the job done. First of all, they discontinued the X.
How many did that see?
That was 7. That
Oh,
was
yeah?
more roomy, but it wasn't big enough. But they were asking $100K for it. It's too expensive. And then the Y 7-seater, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. It's a fair price, but it's not big enough.
Okay. We're on Yud Chesamid Bays.
You need a van, they need a 10, 12 seaters.
Yeah. We're on Yud Chesamid Bays in the middle. By the time we're done today, we are going to get to Yud Tes Amid Aleph. We're going to do about an Amid today. I looked to see when we started Makkos, and it was November 2025, and I got upset at myself. I said, there's no reason I only did 17 blot in 7 months. It's on me.
Oh, and you do it slower, and we also talk about other things.
Yeah,
other things.
yeah, we do. The end of, I was listening to Chavrusata from a few years ago. Rabbi Teddy said this part. The last pasuk in my Bar Mitzvah Parshas Yisra, he talks about Loisi Galayr Vasacha, love.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't reveal your erva when you're heading to the Mizbeach.
That's why they don't have steps. That's why it was rain.
Right. And the question is, what's the juxtaposition when it comes to Matan Torah? This is how we're ending off the parsha. And he was saying that when you're learning, everyone, when they start, they have an urge to learn a lot, to take very large steps in their learning. And he was saying how it's very important to do things that, yes, you can push yourself, but to conquer what you can. Reasonable. So maybe that's. But I still feel like. But then again, we when we started learning, we weren't learning an hour.
Right. Also, the rest of the year, I had chavrusas and everything. You don't want to do later. And
right. Yeah. I'm old now.
7:15 is prime time.
Yeah. Okay. Yud Chesamid Beis. We're talking about Bikurim.
Yeah.
Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar Rabbi Shaya, Bikurim hanacha ma'akeves behen. Bikurim, and that is, for those that are just joining us now, those are the fruits that are brought to the kohen, the first fruits. So there's this avoida, when it's brought to the Beis HaMikdash, you don't just leave it at the front door and run away. You have to bring them. We'll see that there's a waving component to them. But in order to complete your Bikurim, the Bikurim process, according to Rabbi Elazar, you have to place them before the Mizbeach. Kriya ein ma'akeves behen. But this idea, but this halacha, that you have to recite certain psukim, it's not ma'akeves. It's not essential to completing the mitzvah. Umi amar Rabbi Elazar hachi. But did Rabbi Elazar actually say this? Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar Rabbi Shaya, hifresh bikurim kaidem l'chag. If one separated bikurim before the chag, the avar le'en chag, and the festival of Sukkot is passed without being brought to the temple, yirkavu, they should be left to rot. My love mishum delay matzi lemikra le'en is not the reason because the owner is unable to do the kriya after Sukkot, right? And we know that, or we don't know, but I'm telling you that after Sukkot, if you bring Bikurim, which you can until Shavuos, I think, or whenever it is, it's not subject to this kriya.
Sukkot. What do you mean Sukkot?
After Sukkot.
Yeah.
There's no kriya.
Yeah.
So therefore, the Gemara is saying, is the reason you have to leave it to rot because kriya is no longer.
Why'd you say Shavuos?
No, there's a second type of. There are 2 times to bring Bikurim. I was reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just read you this note over here. They say on Yud Zayin Amid Aleph in the Masifta, going back to Yud Zayin, the Mishnah, in footnote Yud Beis, and the Masifta says that you have to realize that with the Bikurim is that this is only the Shivas Minim.
Dates.
Right, so Geffen, Rimon, Te'ena, Shem, and
Pomegranates.
Right, all of those.
Honey.
And this is also only when the Beis Hamikdash is around. This, by the
Not
way,
right
if you
now,
go back,
soon.
we discussed that over there.
Yeah.
This might have been the phone call, I'm not sure. So once you officially name the Bikurim, then you're not allowed. Then you're not allowed to eat it. That's when you're not allowed to eat it, once you name it. So that's the significance with the naming. Okay. All right. So.
Naming, you're talking about the Kriya.
Yeah, that's the Kriya, where they read that Parsha V'Rami V'Rovi. Okay, and then after it gets given to the Kohen. Fine. Those are the two steps. So that's what we talk about when we say the Hanacha. That's the placing. The placing when you put it in the courtyard of the Beis Hamikdash before, so Kohen can't eat it. You need to do that. That's what that means.
And according to Rabbi Lazar, it's not ma'akev, the
The
kriya.
Kriya.
The kriya is
the
not
Hanacha
ma'akev.
is. You need to place it. Forget about the recitation. So now the Gemara's question, did Rabbi Eliezer say this? What does Rabbi Eliezer say? If you did it before Sukkot,
Did what?
and you intended to bring it before,
before.
you separate it with the intention to bring it before, and then it's already Sukkot. So now you have to let them rot. So I don't know where you got Shavuos from.
Oh, okay, fine. Leave that out for a second.
Okay, fine.
So, is the reason that you have to leave it out, Frek the Gemara, because you're unable to say Kriya?
This is where you got Shavuos from. They say over here in the footnote, Sukkot, right? Because it says Chag. V'avar alein Chag. What is Chag? I'm asking, what is Chag?
Sukkot.
Right. So even though the pasuk says Chag HaMatzos v'Chag HaShavuos,
I meant Chanukah.
v'Chag HaShavuos, it says in Dvarim Tez Zayin, very easy to remember. Nevertheless, it's Sukkot.
1717.
Yeah, very easy to remember.
Chag is Sukkot.
It's Sukkot.
From Shavuos until Sukkot, when you bring them, you have the mitzvah of the halacha is that there's Kriya as well. But if you bring it from Sukkot until Chanukah, you're still allowed to bring them, but you don't say the Kriya.
After Sukkot.
I think if you cut them after Sukkot, that's what it means.
According to Rabbi Shea, you have to, if you separate it before Sukkot with the intention to bring it before and you didn't, no good. You gotta wait till they rot and then you throw them out. Fine.
The garbage.
Okay, fine.
So it looks.
Gemara's gonna question this.
Yeah, my lav mishum delay matzah lemikra alein. Is it not because you can no longer do kriya after Sukkot, right? Because the bikurim were separated before Sukkot, so you have to do the kriya.
Time-sensitive mitzvah.
So that's the reason that they have to be left.
This is what you're saying in this note. The time to begin to bring bikurim is between Shavuos and Chanukah. Rather, those who bring them before Sukkot are able to do the kriya of the parsha bikurim. After Sukkot, they're unable to do the kriya for the bikurim. Why? The pasuk says, "V'samachta b'chol hatov." You shall rejoice with all the good. And Chazal expound that to mean that we read the parsha bikurim only at a time of happiness. From Shavuos until Sukkot is a time of happiness because that's when they gather all of the fruit. aka that's when their main money would come in that they would make. Afterwards, they would bring it, but they would not do the kriya. Chanukah is the end of the time of bringing bikurim, because the pasuk says Asher Tavi Ma'artzacha, and the Sifri expounds on this as long as it's on your ground, so to say. And Chanukah, it's already everything is no longer on your ground; all the fruits are complete. So that's where it comes from Sukkot and Chanukah. So we see that preferably, at least, it should certainly be brought before Sukkot. But if it wasn't, it seems like there's some level. What do we say? You could bring them, but you don't do the kriya. Right?
That's right. Okay. That's right.
That's where they say note on that.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly
you
that.
At the note. You speak at the notes.
I'm sorry because I did the Gemara already, so that's why.
Okay.
But yes.
But when I was asking you about Sukkot Shavuos, you weren't sharp enough to.
You're right.
So
that's why we have to do this.
Okay. See, to learn properly, you gotta do it. If you gotta remember, you gotta digest. All right, bye.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to say that kriya is not ma'akev, then why are you leaving it left to rot? Bring them and don't do the kriya. You don't need to do the kriya.
Right. Rather we see that you need the kriya.
Kid Rebbe Zera. This is in accordance with Rebbe Zera. The Omar Rebbe Zera. It took me a little bit of time to understand what that meant.
Yeah.
But we'll speak it out for the Olam.
Comes up in a dozen places in Shas. Okay,
Rebbe Zera. Rebbe Zera is talking about a mincha.
Yeah. Korban mincha.
Korban mincha,
What
which
is it- what is the
consists
korban mincha?
primarily of flour and oil.
Right.
The Torah repeatedly refers to them as being mixed to blend the oil evenly throughout the flour. So Reb Zera talks about this idea, this action of blending.
Well, how much do you need? You need 60 esroinim of this flour that's mixed together in one vessel.
Mm-hmm.
But more than that, it's too much. The vessel's too
Then you-
big.
then you
can't
need
mix
two
properly.
vessels.
It's not a good ingredient. No, they don't say that. It's a set recipe over here.
But this Mishnah seems to say
Yeah.
that a mincha,
So then maybe you could split it up then, right? Into
Yeah,
two vessels.
yeah,
if
yeah,
it's more
yeah.
than 60. Okay.
but it seems from what we're going to see from Reb Zera that even if you don't mix it up, the mincha is valid.
Right, because the Gemara over there in Makkos says on Kuf Gimel, who cares if it doesn't mix properly? The Gemara says.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to mix it.
That's-
So what
yeah.
does the Gemara answer? That's when Rabbi Zera comes into play and says, you're right, you don't need to mix it. But it has to have the potential that it could be mixed. It has to be raw bila.
Kol aray levila
Understand?
ein bila ma'akeves by. This, that
That's why
there's
you
a
need to split it up
mincha
in two
that
vessels.
has a potential to be blended and mixed,
Yeah.
then the lack of blending is not going to passel it up.
Right?
And the by the way, some
Yeah.
it has like the din of a karba, no? Like it's a bringing.
Yeah. This
Like you're not
reminds me of-
shechting. You're not
this reminds me
shechting an
of
animal.
paspasalo. It doesn't matter. Different types of korban.
Yeah.
I'll explain what that means. Okay, yeah, keep going.
V'chol she'ein aray levila bila ma'akeves by, which is the harder part to understand. But any mincha that is not fit for blending,
Right, because the quantity
then
is too big.
blending is critical to it.
Yeah, meaning you need it. Because if the quantity is too big, right, and you can't do it, so then it's no good. It's no good. That's what that means. It has to have the potential that it could be unleashed. That's what that means.
And what does it mean that it's not roy levila?
That means that it's too much. It's like a guy who's trash talking. So he's talking a big game, but he's got nothing to back it up. So the guy's what you call all talk, no game. He's nice hat, no cattle. He's got nothing to back it up. But a guy who's got to back it up, okay, so now he could talk. That's what this is saying over here, so to say. Right? This reminds me of paspasalo, bread in the basket. Right? When are you going to be more hungry? If you know your pantry is loaded and you have tons of food, you're just too lazy to get up? Or if you have absolutely nothing in your pantry at all? You're obviously going to be much more hungry in that last case because
Yeah.
you know that you have nothing to back it up. That's what's happening over here.
But what is the case of a mincha that's not roy levila?
So the case of the mincha over there is if it has more than 60 esronim and there's only one vessel to mix it in.
You
that's
can't
too
thoroughly
much.
mix it, right?
It's like if there's too many cars on the highway, there's going to be tons of traffic.
And you only have one vessel.
Yeah, exactly.
So in that case, the mixing is going to be. But if you have you have less than 60 in one vessel that's not mixed, then you could. Potential is substance here. That's really what it means. That if it has the potential to be mixed,
That's right.
then it's not going to be ma'akev. But
Right.
if you have too much
Right.
and you can't mix it, you can't properly mix it,
Nothing doing.
then the actual mixing is going to trip it up.
That's what it's called learning a Gemara properly. You speak it out, you digest it, you chew it.
You mix
You
it.
don't inhale a $200 tomahawk steak when you go out to have a high-end, nice piece. You chew it, you enjoy it, you talk about it, you share it with other people you meet randomly. All right, carry on.
And the same is true by the bikurim. That if the psukim can be said, then the actual kriya is not going to be ma'akev. But if they cannot be said, then the bikurim, which were separated before sukkos, right, which have in it the kriya, and you can no longer do the kriya, then it is disqualified.
Well said. Get it?
Well said. Oh, kriya, yeah.
Kriya. Okay.
Okay.
You gotta make an adam on that joke. You know why? It's a corny joke.
Barnafashes. With a
Oh,
barnafashes.
yeah, but I did got enough. You have enough.
Okay.
Nothing like grilled corn. Come on.
Corn is delicious, a little butter.
Grilled, shoo! Oh, after the grill, you get the special corn holders, nice and hot, little crispy. Thank you, okay, right there.
Man likes his corn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, comes
So-
yeah.
So what we just stated was Rebbe Lazar in the name of Rebbe
Are you
Hishaya.
thinking in the back of your head, you want to finish this for the 9 days? I was just thinking about it over
No.
Shabbos. I came out. Oh,
No.
okay, right.
No.
I thought that you had a master plan.
No.
No, all right.
If anything,
Yeah.
I want to make a siyum the day after the 9
There's
days.
need to do that, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do it by Rabbi Teddy.
I
Through
actually-
Yud.
No, they do it every day, though. That's something else.
No, they do it every 9 days, but then they do it like another 6 days after the 9
I
days.
spent this past Shabbos several hours researching the topic of siyumim on the 9 days, and there's an Indian specifically during the 9 days to do it. And you should know it was brought down to specifically make a siyum on Makkos.
Azai?
Oh, yeah, I knew you were gonna like that one.
I like that. So should I try? I don't want to rush it. I'm not like.
No, there's different shittas about making a siyum. First of all, you never want to rush for clarity.
Yeah.
There's basically two schools of thought. One is, look, you're gonna set a goal and you're gonna try to finish something. That's great. You're gonna try to finish something that will cause you to learn. Then the other side is what are you talking about? If a guy's just learning, he's not learning every Rashi. He's not learning it properly. Bein. He's rushing through it to make it think that's a siyum. That's come on. Another says, to make a real siyum, that's a whole thing. A real siyum to really learn something. So there's two different thoughts on that. Yeah, that's what to talk about. Yeah. But 9 days question. Churban, think about it.
Okay, so we said it, Rebbe Lazar named B'Shaya.
Yeah.
And now Rebbe Acha Bar Yaakov Masnik Rebbe Asi Omer Rebbe Yochanan.
Yeah.
Rebbe Acha Bar Yaakov taught the same ruling as having been said by Rav Asi in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. The Kashalei de Rabbi Yochanan ad Rabbi Yochanan. And then he saw a conflict between the two Rabbi Yochanan statements. Umir Rabbi Yochanan bikurim hanacha ma'keves ben kriya ein ma'keves ben. Did Rabbi Yochanan actually say that by bikurim the hanacha is essential, but the kriya is not essential? It doesn't say I, but that's how you have to do it. Torah Moshe Messina, Hatzalach Moshe Messina. You say I. What?
Moshe Messina? I didn't know.
No. But it's minhag, so now it's take on.
Minhag kedin state. Oh.
Aye, v'haba.
You said
It's
okay,
Klal
fine, got it.
V'haba minei Rab Asi me Rabbi Yochanan, but Rab Asi inquired of Rabbi Yochanan,
Yeah.
and he said, "Bikurim me'emasai mutarin l'kohanim." From what point onward are the kohanim allowed to consume
Right.
the bikurim?
In other words, is it the kriya or the hanacha, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Or is it just
Something
bringing
else,
it
another
in
stage.
to the waving? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Va'amar le, and Rabbi Yochanan says, "Hara'uyin lekriya mishekora aleihen."
Who's Rabbi Yochanan talking to again?
He's talking to Rabbi Asi.
Rabbi
He
Asi.
inquired
Okay,
of him.
all right.
Those bikurim that are taka subject to kriya are permitted when the kriya takes place. V'she'en ru'uyin lekriya misharo pnei habayis. And the bikurim that are not subject to kriya,
What does that
right?
mean? It's not subject.
It's after Sukkot.
Oh, it's after Sukkot. Okay.
After Sukkot before Hanukkah.
Okay.
Then, when they see the face of the Azara, when they're brought in, that is when they are able to be
By the way, that
consumed.
doesn't have to be the only case that it's unfit. It could also be if a convert's bringing it.
Oh.
You wouldn't be doing kriya.
Yeah,
Something to think about that. Okay.
So this conflict with Rabbi Yochanan, who supposedly said, "Hanacha ma'keves ben kriya ein ma'keves ben kasha kriya," because you see over here when he said she'ein ru'in the kriya misharo pnei abayis, that kriya is not ma'akev, but before he said kriya is ma'akev, and then he also said kasha hanacha, that placement is when the kohen can partake in the bikurim, and now he says that it's nothing to do with placement, but it's actually when it's roi pnei habayis, when it's brought into the azara. So you have two conflicts according to Rabbi Yochanan, if that's the case. And for good. And for the Gemara kriya akriya leikashya. This idea that kriya and kriya, you do need kriya, you don't need kriya, it's not a kasha. Or Reb Shimon. This, when we said kriya is ma'akev, that's Reb Shimon. Could have also said that it was Rabbi Akiva for those keeping track, because back on Yud Zayin Amud Aleph, we did say Rabbi Akiva said that Kriya is Ma'akev, but the Gemara says, the Ritva at least, the Gemara says Reb Shimon because his din was his psak was more widely known. And Harabanan, this that we say that the that Kriya is not Ma'akev, that is like the Rabbanan, as we learned over there on Yad Zayin, by Rabbi Yochanan. And then the question about Hanacha Namiloi Kashya, Ha Rabbi Yehuda. This idea that you don't need Hanacha in order for the Kaihanim to partake in, that is Rabbi Yehuda, as we'll see in a minute. The Ha Rabbanan, whereas the first one who says that the first din where it said that Hanacha is Ma'akev, that is the Rabbanan. So this kasha of Rabbi Yochanan is really just a mix, a blended mix of many different mandi amrim, some bread, some oil, you mix it together, and the Gemara is trying to unmix to try to tell you. So we said that Rabbi Yehuda is the one who said, and this is where it gets geschmack, Rabbi say, hold on to your seats, it's going to be vild. Rabbi Yehuda is the one who said that Hanacha is not Ma'akev, and all you need to do is bring it into the Azara. My Rabbi Yehuda...
Wasn't Geshmak until now?
No, it's going to get more Geshmak.
Why are you assuming that someone's sitting? You have to sit when you learn.
Who said that someone's sitting?
You said hold on to your seats.
Yeah, you should sit that.
You should? What does it say there? Yeah.
Ve'gisa b'yomim v'layla.
Yeah.
How do you have enough strength to do Ve'gisa b'yomim v'layla?
Yeah.
Right? The more you can learn, if you can learn the same much sitting and preserve your strength so you can learn more, what is the inyan to stand and weaken yourself in a state of learning?
How is it possible to learn day and night? Don't you need to sleep, go to the bathroom, eat?
You do as much as you can. It's not a chiyuv to do full.
So you're saying like 15 hours a day?
Because 1 hour you have to learn daven.
Yeah.
So my Rabbi Yehuda, what is the opinion?
Okay.
According to Moshe Yosef Bland, the more you can inflict upon yourself tsar, he equates that with amelis.
No.
It's more amelis to learn with the Gemara upside down because you get more schar trying to break down the words.
You should know, back in the Haltahain in the yeshiva, they used to only have one Gemara. So they'd have 5 people sitting on the Gemara. So even when the guy was by himself, he's used to always looking backwards. No, I'm just asking, what's your source? Is there anyone that says that?
I don't have sources. I'm a pasha to yid. I barely learned an art school Gemara. What Hashem's going to mun me and say, this is all you did? You had so much potential.
Anyone who learns seriously, like a guy like you, right? You're a serious tiger. You got to know Reish Mem Vav your day. Hilchos Talmud Torah. What do you talk about?
Remove.
What?
Remove. Reish Mem Vav. Reish Mem Daled?
No, Reish Mem Vav. All the Reish Mems are very nice.
What's Reish Mem Daled?
Over there, Reish Mem Daled, Reish Mem Gimel, Reish Mem Hey. It's all talking about the halachas of basically rabbis, kavod Torah, those types of inyanim that are there. Very important.
Oh, yeah, I learned on Shabbos.
Kivud Avim is Reish Mem Aleph also.
You have to stand up for an elderly person.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what is considered elderly? It's machlekes between the
70 years old.
Shulchan Aruch,
Arizal holds 60.
and the Arizal says 60.
Yeah.
And it's not good enough. Only tell me the Chachamim can stand up a little bit, but someone else has to stand up the whole way.
Why do you need to stand up for someone older?
To show honor.
Why?
So why do you have to stand up for a Sefer Torah?
You're honoring, it's a Torah.
Yeah, so Talmid Chacham is Torah.
I'm not talking Talmid Chacham. I'm talking about a guy who's 70. He knows no Torah.
He's very wise.
Even if he's not Jewish, you stand up.
Yeah,
what do you
why?
mean? He's not wise. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's not wise.
Oh.
So there's a few reasons why you have to stand up.
So it helps you sharpen your kibbut over in.
Nah. First of all, there has to be some merit that he has that caused him to live so long. Firstly. Secondly, he has life experiences. And thirdly, it's important to respect the elders. And
so wise. I said wise. How do you get wise? From experience. But
meaning even if the guy's not smart, his life experiences. That's basically how they say it. Few reasons.
Rabbi Yehuda!
Generation doesn't like the older people. Big time. Okay, yeah.
Rabbi Yehuda says...
Rabbi Yehuda.
Remember, he said that Hanocha is not Ma'akev.
Yeah.
The Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, V'hinachtoi zoi tenufa. So, in the Torah, I want you to know, it says this word, Vav He Nun Ches Tes Taf Vav, in some variation, right? We have it in two places, two psukim. One's pasuk Dalet, and I think one's pasuk Yud, but we'll get to it. When it says v'hinachtoi, when it's talking about bikurim in Perek Chavav and Dvarim, and you shall place it before Hashem, Rabbi Yehuda says this is actually a reference to waving. The Torah means that the bikurim should be waved, some motion of some sort.
Wave to all directions, right?
Yeah, like a lulav. Oyeina ela hanacha mamish, but perhaps that's not so. Maybe it means when it says v'hinachtoi, that it's referring to hanacha mamish, right? It says v'hinachtoi.
Lahaniach tefillin.
Lahaniach tefillin.
Which means what?
To
place it. To put it down. You're
yeah.
placing it, not waving.
Kshu oimer v'hinichai harei hanacha oimer. When it says in pasuk Dalid v'hinichai, it's referring to the actual placement by the mizbeach. So when it repeats it, right? Why would I need it to repeat it in pasuk Yud? Ha ma'ani mekayim v'hinachtai. So how should you interpret this seemingly extra word of v'hinachtai? Yehuda comes along and he says it's referring to tnufa. Okay? So there's this principle, apparently, that whenever something is not repeated, then that is not going to hold up the success of the act, meaning it's not ma'akev. That there's one mention of hanacha and the second mention of v'inicha is referring to the waving, so it never repeats hanacha twice. According to Rabbi Yehuda, he learns from that hanacha is not going to be ma'akev. Okay?
Okay.
And you're going to say, who does not hold like Rabbi Yehuda? This is where it gets even more geschmack.
I know, it is Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov.
There we go. Uman tana de polag alei Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. He de tanya v'lokach hakoyen hatena miyadecha. When the Torah says the kohen shall take the basket from your hand, right? It says miyadecha limoid al habikurim shetuunin tnufa. This is teaching you that bikurim require waving. Divrei Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. So he learns.
The point of the waving. I think
It's
going to say that next line. Okay.
But it is something that is critical.
Yeah.
Apparently, we'll see.
You could ask the question also about the aluminium. Why are we waving it? You could easily come onto it to chok, but that's not what it is. You're spreading the bracha throughout the whole world. Right. Carry on.
Right. Okay. So we'll take it at face value that we know the waving from elsewhere. Okay. And therefore, if the hanacha is mentioned twice in pasuk Daled and pasuk Yud, according to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, then that taka is going to make hanacha ma'akev.
Yeah.
So my time in the Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, right? Because we know that according to Rabbi Yehuda, he darshaned up v'hinachtoi as meaning waving, right? So it makes sense according to Rabbi Yehuda. Where does Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov come along and learn out unlike Rabbi Yehuda? Why doesn't he just follow suit?
Yeah.
My time in the Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Asya Yod Mishlamim. He learns it out from Gzeir Shava, which is, by the way, a Messiah. Gzeir Shava, you can't just make up a Gzeir Shava. That's handed down. So that's handed down. Get it? Handed down.
Yeah.
He did the corn thing.
Adama.
See,
You're going to use that line. I guarantee
Asya Yod
that line dozens of times.
No, it's too corny.
Oh!
Asya Yod Mishlamim. It's derived by means of Gzeir Shava from Shlamim. Ksiv Hacha. It's written here by Bikurim. V'lokach hakoyen hatena miyadecha. Keyword miyadecha. Uchsiv. And it says by Shlamim Yadav Tivi'ena Eis Ishe Hashem. With his own hand shall he bring the fire offering of Hashem to wave it. So through Gzeir Shava we learn that Bikurim also requires waving. And weiter, there's another Gzeir Shava to teach that Ma Kan Koyin, just as here in the case of the Bikurim, the waving is done by the Koyin, because it says the Koyin shall wave the basket. Afla Alon Koyin, so too there by the Shlamim, the waving, right, it's a two-way highway. So we're going back to the other way on the Gzeir Shava, that the Kohen also has to be the one who does the waving, although the Psukim there is referring to, or mentions only the owner. So Mala Halon Bailim, just as over there in the case of Shlamim, the owner must wave the Shlamim. Afkan Bailim, so too over here, the Kohen, the owner has to wave it, even though it only mentions the Kohen. So we learn out of Gzeir Shava that in the case of Shlamim and Bikurim, both the Kohen and the owner are involved in the waving process, which I'm sure you can probably find a video of how exactly it's done. Ha-ketzad maniach Kohen yadav tachasidei balim meinif. The Kohen places his hands below the owner's hands and waves together with him. Now, let me ask you a question. This idea...
Rashi in Sukkah says it wasn't necessarily under his hands, it was the vessel that they were holding. Okay. Sukkah Mem Zayin. Yeah, question? Ritva seems to argue. It's actually under his hand.
This idea, I was bothered by this late last night. That we say, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the only way you know if something, the way it works is that only if something is repeated is it ma'akev, right? So why, according to Rabbi Yehuda, does he not say that, oh, it is ma'akev because it repeats it twice? Meaning, why does he darshan up the second mention as being v'hinchisai as opposed to v'hinachtai and say that it's twice? Right? Don't say that, oh, you know it's not ma'akev because it doesn't repeat itself. Yes, it does. You just darshaned it up. So I think the answer is that you need to learn out snufa from somewhere. Waving is not something that they just made up. We know that is something that has to be done. We need a pasuk for it. So Rabbi Yehuda comes along and says, this is the pasuk. As to why he doesn't hold like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov and learns it out from Lokach HaKoyin HaTenem Yadecha, it's because he didn't have the Messiah of a Gzeir Shava. Good. Amar Rav Bar Adam Rabbi Yitzchak. Rav Bar Adam said in the name of Rabbi Yitzchak, Bikurim, and we are turning to Yotes Amid Aleph in Makkos.
Shkoyach. I thought it was...
Me'emesai. Me'emesai. Mechayven Aleyan. Mishiyiru Pnei Abayis. Hold on. We are back, Rabbi Isai. In Uktzin. No, I'm kidding. Okay. I gotta go back a second. Amar Rav Bar Adam Rav Yitzchak Bikurim Me'emesai Mechayven Aleyan. At what point is someone going to be chayiv for eating them?
Who, like the Kohen?
Yeah, because only the Kohen's allowed to eat them.
No, Zar, right? It's a non-Kohen. If a non-Kohen eats it, so when is he going to be liable? When is it halachically considered bikurim that he would be liable to die from it? So
meaning it's not bikurim until it's bikurim.
Right. When is it?
So after it becomes bikurim, right. and then
it would become
maybe
liable.
The owner takes a bite.
Yeah.
Shachris tomorrow?
On the bottom left.
Shachris tomorrow. Yeah, that's.
Those are all the times.
That's Rosh Chodesh. That's for Wednesday. So Tfilas Liyom Sheni Shishi, when it's not Rosh Chodesh, is 6, 10, 7 in the middle, 8, 15, and 9.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Sure. So you're saying that the owner brought it in and then he took a bite out of it?
Any non-Kohen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from what point onward is one chayav for eating them? Mishiyiru Pnei Abayis. When he walks into the Azara with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Tosfos Shantz and the Rosh.
The Rosh Mishans.
However, understand the Gemara is referring to entry into the city of Yerushalayim. Takes a shtickle bite.
No.
What?
That's not what I have over here. They hold it as the actual courtyard. The Rambam.
I'm sorry, the Rambam.
Don't misquote the Rambam.
No, because look how many. Look how many colons, slashes, periods. I did. Very key to admit your faults. Bikiman.
That's what a good chavrusa is for.
That's why it says you're supposed to learn with Harusa.
That's
You
right.
chisel.
Did you see the shir that I gave on that?
No.
Maybe
I did.
Mishnah Vav, learning
Maybe I
by
did.
yourself versus with the chavrusa versus the shir.
That's right, actually.
Yeah. Nice shir on that topic.
Put it in the comments.
Gemara says that if you learn by yourself, you're a fool. You're a sinner.
Okay, it's one thing being foolish, but you're sinning.
You're a sinner.
I learn by myself all the time. So at 12 o'clock at night, why should I? I'm not going to learn because I don't want to do it there.
You know why? That's why you got to watch the shir and see what there's a heter to learn by yourself. The Chazon Ish would learn by himself. Where does that come from? Yeah, that's right. That's right. The Gemara says anyone who learns the Daf Yomi, you can call it Baita Yomi. Says you're a sinner if you learn by yourself.
This is why lit facts are so like everything. Oh, you're gonna get punished for this. The guy's just learning. Like leave him alone. Leave him alone.
Stop what you're learning. The Vaita Yomi, 99.9% of people who learn that have no clue what the explanation is. They think anyone who Daf Yomi, Vaita Yomi.
What's Vaita?
Vaita, you just keep flying, keep going.
It's funny.
Yeah. Because if you don't learn wrong shot, they're gonna think, oh, I saw the orange girl said you're a sinner if you learn by yourself. You're a fool if you learn by yourself. Gotta reset.
Kiman, who says Mishiru Pnei Habayis?
Yeah.
Ki Hait Tana. The Tanya. Rabbi Eliezer Oimer, Bikurim Miktsasam B'chutz and Miktsasam B'fnim. If Bikurim were partly outside the Azar and partly inside, with some of the fruits inside and some of them outside, Shebachutz Harein Kechulin B'chal Devreim. Those that are outside are Chulin in every respect. Shebefnim Harein Kehektish B'chal Devreihem. So we see that Rabbi Eliezer is the one who says the threshold of making it into Bikurim, you see, is crossing over that doorstep. Oh, so this is important. Prior to this point, none of the Yisurim apply, but one may not eat them because of the positive commandment to bring them to the Beis HaMikdash, place them before the altar, and recite the psukim. So you would be over. You wouldn't get Makkos for eating them when they're chulin, but you would be. You happen to be destroying the aseh, right? Because you ate them. Bikurim, their placement before the Mizbeach is essential, but the Kriya is not essential. Kiman. Who is this like? Ki Haitana. Titanya, Rabbi Yossi Oimer Shleisha Dvarim Mishum Shleisha Zakenim. Rabbi Yossi reports 3 things in the name of 3 Zakenim. One of which is the following. If you want to look at all of them, open up Masechtas Tmura, Chaf Aleph Amid Aleph, and to Chaf Aleph Amid Beis. Rabbi Shmuel Oimer, Yachol Ya'ale Adam Ma'aser Sheni V'zman Hazeh B'Yerushalayim V'yachlenu. It might be thought that a person may bring his Ma'aser Sheni up to Yerushalayim even nowadays when the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed and eat it there, as is the law when the Beis HaMikdash stands. Vidinhu. This notion is refuted through a logical argument. Bechar Toin Havas Makkos. The Bechar offering requires it being brought to the place, Yerushalayim, and eaten there. Ma'aser Sheni Toin Havas Makkos. And Ma'aser Sheni requires it being brought to the place. So we can learn out Ma Bechar Eina Ela B'fnei Abayis, just as the Bechar offering is eaten only when the Beis HaMikdash stands. Af Ma'aser Eina Ela B'fnei Abayis. So to Ma'aser Sheni should only when the Beis HaMikdash stands, but not nowadays. However, this logical derivation is insufficient. What comparison can be made to Bichurim, which requires placement, hanacha, of its dam and sacrificial parts on the Mizbeach? And that's not comparable to Ma'aser Sheni. Na. So maybe we can't compare it. So therefore, we need another reason as to why Ma'aser Sheni cannot be brought up to the Beis HaMikdash or to the place of the Beis HaMikdash and eat it there as if the Beis HaMikdash stands. So Bichurim Yechichu. Perhaps you'll say that Bikurim can demonstrate that even something which does not require hanacha Al Mizbeach may be eaten only when the temple stands. Yeah, it's a little weird. This be a little unusual. This bikurim yechichol. I don't understand the havamino. Mala bikurim shekain tu'unim hanacha. What comparison can you make from bikurim, which require? Oh, 1 second. We weren't just saying bikurim. Oh, we were talking about bechar. So we said, oh, maybe you want to make it maybe bikurim. Sorry, it's not weird. Bikurim we can learn out meiser sheni. So we said, right? Because bikurim, even though there's no maybe bikurim we could learn out because over there's no hanacha of dam and sacrificial parts. Bikurim cannot be eaten after the destruction because the Torah requires that they be placed before the mizbeach in order to become permitted for consumption. So therefore, if you don't have to put dam and ivarim or whatever they are by bikurim when the base of mikdash is so maybe learn out over there that just Meiser Sheni also can't, just like Bikurim is not brought, so to Meiser Sheni.
Right.
So we say, no, Mala Bikurim Shekain to Unim Hanacha. What comparison can be made to Bikurim, which has some form of Hanacha, but Meiser Sheni has no form of Hanacha. So therefore,
it rejects the potential mamatzim, just like the Sukkah there, right?
Yes, just like the Bechar. So Tamid Loimer, so we're going to come on to a pasuk to learn that. The Torah therefore states, and you shall eat before Hashem your God in the place that he will choose to rest his name, the meiser sheni of your grain, your wine, and your oil, and the firstborn of your cattle and your flocks. By stating the requirement to eat meiser sheni and the bechar offering in Yerushalayim in the same pasuk, Makkos meiser lebechar. The Torah compares meiser sheni to the bechar. Ma bechar ein el lifnei habayis. Just like the bechar is eaten only when the base on Mikdash stands, af meiser ein el lifnei habayis. So 2 Meiser Sheni is only eaten when it stands. So we see over here that, remember, we all brought this. We all brought this to show that Hanacha is Ma'akev.
Integral.
So you see over here, right, from this pasuk that Hanacha is integral. Yeah. You learn it out from the Makkos Meiser L'Bchar. So now, remember, Bechar before wasn't good.
Yep.
Because
you needed the blood on there. Remember?
Yeah, the dominant. Yeah. Okay. So Rosh is now demonstrated that Rishmal is of the opinion that while placing the Bikurim is essential, the Kriya is not. The Im Isa Lifrech. Now, if it was so that Rishmal holds that Kriya is essential, which we never said, but okay. Livrech ma'alib churim shekain tu'unin kriya v'hanacha. You can learn out. You can say that's not so, because what comparison can be made to Bikurim, which requires Kriya and Hanacha, where Meiser Sheni does not.
Yeah.
I mean, we said Rabbi Shmuel says Kriya is not Ma'akev.
That's the point. He didn't mention Kriya because you don't need it.
Rabbi Shmuel didn't mention Kriya where?
Over here.
Where?
Over when we was discussing this. Right? He said that you only need the Hanacha. Right? So if you would say that the Kriya is a problem, then you could have asked that question. You could have rejected that.
Meaning
Purim's an issue because he doesn't know of it.
If you were going to say that Kriya is Ma'akev, and you have an easy way of saying no, it shouldn't be because Bikurim, Bikurim, right? If you're comparing Meiser Sheni and Bikurim, one would have Kriya being Ma'akev and Meiser Sheni doesn't, so you can't do that. So you have to say they're both not Ma'akev. Kriya is not Ma'akev by either. Interesting. Amar of Ashi, Nihi Ukuva Leka. Even if it is not essential, mitzvah mileka, is there not a mitzvah? Lema mitzvah lifrech. And accordingly, let Rishon mention the mitzvah and refute the logical derivation on this basis. Meaning, so what's he saying here?
What is this question you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, so this question is, Rav Ashi is asking to Rav Sheshes saying, what do you mean? Why didn't Rabbi Yishmael mention Kriya in the refutation? He could have said, okay, yeah, granted, right, it's not ma'akiv. You don't need it, but it's still a mitzvah.
Where should he have said that, please?
Over here.
In this Ve'im Isa?
Yeah, you should have said, what about Bikurim? Because there's a mitzvah to do the Kriya and the Hanacha. That could have been a question. That could have been the question.
What should the question? Oh, the question should have been that there's a mitzvah to do kriya,
Yes,
so
mitzvah.
that's not comparable.
Not necessarily ma'akiv. It's not integral, but it's still
Part of it,
right.
and that's why they're not. You need them to be similar, and that would make them not similar.
Right. You could have asked that question.
Elamar Rav Ashi caving to ikabikur hager, since by the case of bikurim, a ger,
The bikurim of a ger.
a bikurim who brings it from his land,
Right now, a
devoy
ger can't
lememer,
do kriya. Because why
asher
ger?
nishba lavesenu, who would have to say, I declare today before Hashem that I've come to the land that Hashem has promised to our fathers.
Our ancestors.
V'lo matzah,
I like that
Omar.
translation better. They say fathers. It's not fathers. It's ancestors.
But he cannot say our ancestors,
Right.
since this is not true in his case.
Right, correct.
And therefore, ger who brings bikurim does not
We
say the
converted
pasuk
it.
at all. Lo yipsikale. So therefore, he didn't want to say.
So it's not necessarily so definitive that the kriya would actually be a mitzvah.
That's why he didn't bring
That's
up
why
the
he didn't
mitzvah,
ask that question.
and that's why he brought it up as it being, even though it's not. He spoke about it based off of akvos, about holding back, as opposed to the mitzvah. Wow, teeth. Wow, how long is this?
It just keeps going, isn't it? Compelling, it just keeps going more, Taina. How much longer can we be Zaycha for? But it's gonna go actually to your
Leather Dina,
the two dots on
the
the top of
Sefer
the
Mahatzah.
Your Testament base, just letting you know.
Let the
Third
reasoning resume and let the comparison be made from the common characteristic that Bechar and Bikurim, although neither the Bechar nor Bikur by itself can show that Ma'aser Sheni may not be eaten in Yerushalayim nowadays, an analogy drawn from the two of them together can be proved this point. Just as Bechar and Bikurim share in common that they must be eaten in Yerushalayim, but only when there's a base in Mikdash, so too Ma'aser Sheni, which also must be eaten in Yerushalayim, may be eaten only when there's a Mizbeach.
Common denominator.
Meaning, why not learn it like that? So we'll do this again tomorrow.
In other words, why does Rabbi Yishmael need the hekish? You could just come on to the common denominator between the two.
About what? Bechar and Bikurim.
Just like they need Havas Makom, you have to bring it to the place. And what? It could only be eaten when the Beis HaMikdash is around. So too, Ma'aser Sheni.
Yeah.
So why does Rabbi Yishmael need to come on to the hekish?
Mishum de Ikla Mifrach. Yishmael cannot use it because it can be refuted as follows. Malat Sada Shavash upon Shekain Yesh Ben Sad Mizbeach. What comparison can be made to their common characteristic where the Bechar and the Bikurim need a Mizbeach and the Ma'aser Sheni doesn't? So if they're not comparable, I'd rather come on to the Hekesh.
By the way, Mazel Tov, we had a fifth girl.
Oh, my God.
I didn't want to tell you before. I didn't want it to be little too.
When?
When? Middle of the night. Nah, like we went middle of the night and it was like 11 o'clock today, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start davening for a boy now.
Did you know what you're having?